Good morning, John.
Phil, how are you, brother?
Excellent, thank you. Yourself?
Always well, mate. Good to see you again.
Another big 2 weeks.
Well, highly condensed fortnight of pool, snooker, everything. It's just been amazing. So, we have a pretty busy schedule we've got to get through today, Phil.
Well, before we kick off, what shirt are you wearing today?
Okay, well, this is a New Zealand Chartered Club shirt, and the Clancy Cup was started in 1990, and it was an international match between Australia and New Zealand Chartered Clubs.
Yep.
So effectively Australia and New Zealand. This is the 98 shirt, which I'm not sure. I never played in 98. But I'm sure someone's gifted this to me, realising, sort of how patriotic I still am. And I should have a better story than what I have. What I had intended to wear was the 2000 Anzac Test Series, which we both went in.
Yeah.
We played, and we'll just touch on that while I'm on that subject, because we played in Levin.
Yeah.
And Wazza was our skipper. Mark Sullivan was the sponsor of the tournament. We had those great jackets. He got us all these fabulous jackets, and we went along there and had, that was just a great weekend.
Now, if you want to know the true story behind that story, I didn't play in that event, John.
Didn't you?
I was in it.
Yeah.
And I pulled it out to pull out at the last second because of work. And Phil Jones went in my spot.
Oh, Jones Vagabond.
He had my shirt, so I had Phil on there.
Yeah, I mean, it still would have been a bit of a stretch for him back then.
Yeah, but I had the jacket and everything, Phil, so it was a perfect swap. So he scored a free trip.
He did very well. Okay.
I pulled out right at the very last minute.
That's right. Yeah, I should have remembered that because I knew you were originally part of it.
I played the year before there. With their crazy rules. And,
and hey, it was interesting. They played an interesting game. Where snooker was a foul. Snooker is someone it's a foul.
Right, yeah.
But I digress. I think let's go all the way back to 2 weeks ago when we had Super League.
Yeah, we got two finals: Super League Grand Final, the Blackpool.
Super League Grand Final. Look, good day.
Here were the two teams.
Okay, in the major final, we had Elizabeth RSL Shooters.
Yep.
And they played Chalkers Chasers. Good contest, but they just sort of always stayed ahead of it.
Yeah.
And eventually won. I'm not sure what the final score was, but they won reasonably comfortably. So good credit to them. I mean, it's always interesting to have two new teams in the final of the Super League because it never used to happen. We sort of always had one of 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah. Always
seemed to be the dominant side. But yeah, that sort of opened up, and that was interesting. In the second tier final, we had Empire Bridge and Mansfield Park Gold. Mansfield Park won that one. So again, another new winner into the Super League, which is fantastic. It's good to actually have a more inclusive league.
Yeah. So
in
the major one, it was the Chasers. Were they the 0 point team that made
they were, yeah.
Gary Hazel's team? Oh
yes, that's right. Look, it was one of those as awkward one because the system was the system. They played to the system. And it worked for them. They made the final. Were they one of the top 2 teams? Points said they were. It's just debatable, whether that was the right system. We have made adjustments to that handicap system. We'll see how that's reflected in this year's new season. Rather.
Still a big effort for a 0 point team to make the final.
Hey, fabulous. I mean, they still had to play pretty well. They still had to play some best games, and I know one of their players, Peter Johns in particular. He's played very well, and they also ended up with one of their players being in the Masters team, Darren Munchenberg.
Yeah.
So Munchie, he's played very well, and because of his work schedule, he was unable to play.
Ooh.
So they've lost one of the players that had given them probably good results through the year.
Yeah.
Because he works one on, one off, it just sort of was unfortunate. He wasn't able to be there and be part of it.
Well, fantastic effort anyway. Elizabeth RSL champions. Who's the captain?
Good question. because the strangest thing was I reckon Barry Reeves was their captain the year before, and he chose not to play this year.
Okay.
And I did actually have the opportunity to talk to Baz because he's now part of my Vegas team.
Yeah.
And he goes, 16 years I've been trying to win one of these things, JB, 16 years. And the year I decide I'm not going to play, they go and win it. So I'm just trying to think. It may have been Adrian, Lynchy, Adrian. I'm just trying to run through that.
That's all good. They won. That's the main.
They
thing,
won,
right?
and they won well, and they celebrated well.
Yeah. Well, Alex would have been happy with that. Then.
Well, hey, I mean, it was a bit like the old days in that none of these guys are battlers. They're all self-employed. They have, but most of them have good jobs.
Yeah.
And so the money wasn't important to them.
Yeah.
It was to be the Super League champion was a big deal, and they shoveled a lot of their prize money over the bar.
Yeah.
So I think Lynchy said he got 1,000 and got home with 400.
Well, maybe Alex was the winner.
I think Alex was the ultimate winner. Yes.
First time he wasn't in the final, and he still was a winner. But apparently, what about the black ball, John, at Caruso's? They had a pretty big final too. They had 4,000 for the winner and 2,000 for runner-up. And what sparked my interest in it, Kano was in here practicing snooker. And I said, Kano, I haven't seen you for a while. What's going on? He said, we got the black ball final tonight, so I want to get my cueing right. And Kano's team got up and won the final there, and they had a pretty good team with the likes of Damien Walsh, Brett Neiman, Gavin Lomax, Kano. That's
I heard the two sides. I think who was the other
and the team, the Awesome Foursome, were runners up, and they've got Phil Mizik, Adam Andreski, Mark Stone, Ty King. When you talk him, Adam, you've got
look at a couple of really strong sides, because I remember seeing that lineup and I'm going, that's going to be a good match. Okay.
So congratulations on Tina's winning the Caruso's black ball. Gavin Lomax was the player of the season there. I think he had like 12 master breaks shooting out there, but he's a quality player.
Oh, absolutely first class player, and I mean, we're just lucky in that we now have two of England's greatest ball players living here in Adelaide now. Yeah. And they've come down here and they're still highly involved in the game. We're lucky with Stacey as well. And there's probably two distinctly different styles.
Yeah.
They both actually had enormous careers for England.
Yeah.
But then you have Gav, who's the highly aggressive game player, and Stacey, who's probably the more conservative they used to call them fudgers in the old days.
Yeah.
But he's a far more deliberate and really opens his shoulders and has a crack.
Yeah.
He needs to make sure everything's all the ducks in the right spot first. Where Gav's been more of one of those, I think I can get him, I'm going now.
Yeah.
But two distinctly different styles, both fabulous players. So anyone who gets to watch either of these guys play, highly valuable.
Well, congratulations, Tina's, winning the black ball
I need
down
to
there.
tell you about that name, I'm sorry, mate.
Don't like Tina's?
No. I mean, I'm sure there's a number of lovely Tinas out there in the world, but I can't see any correlation to.
Yeah, I like their runners-up team, the Awesome Foursome.
Awesome Foursome, hey, look, that gets my vote. Yeah.
But you got Caruso's are putting on a challenge match with the
well, they are
state teams. Got a Masters and
so we're playing the week after. So they're playing. JL sent me a message because JL's our captain of the Masters, and I'm the manager this year of the team. And I said to him, mate, this is your team. You decide what goes on.
Well, I've seen Caruso's lineups, John. So they've got Nick, Barry Reeves, Richard Podolsky, Shane Weiner, Anthony Spare, Mike Swift, and John Piscini in their Masters lineup. So
hey, look, they'll get.
They're going to push you.
Look, exactly what we want, though. That's exactly what we want. And for both teams, I know that the other team is very strong as well.
Well, the other team looks like the state team when you've got Damo, Gavin, Brett, Kano, Mark Stone, Phil Mizik, Ty King, Dave Rothel.
Hey, look, fabulous.
You're going to be.
Hey, look, and thanks to Dom and to all the boys that play predominantly black ball today for making themselves available, because there's no question that this is exactly the sort of test state teams need. I know that sort of when I was still at the state level playing those challenge matches, we lost our share. Yeah. And I even won a couple when I was on the other side, the challenger side.
Right.
So
I remember being involved in them, John, when I was on the other side, and all you want to do is beat the state
team.
Yeah,
it was a big deal. Just that. Well, and we're doing them. The worst thing you could do is turn up and think, we'll just let them go.
Yeah.
The whole object when I was on the other side trying to sort of test the team, I'd say to the team, I said, look, we need to actually give them the best shot we've got, because this is as close as they're going to get to a hard match going away. And in some cases, in those older days, they were probably going to have more trouble trying to beat the challenger side than the other state side.
Right.
So that's how strong we were.
Well, Crusaders have definitely put a couple of fearsome
sides. Thank you, Dom, and to all the boys out there. We look forward to those matches.
And what about, we'll just finish off the 8 ball while we're on 8 ball, John, but on the weekend we had the state junior titles at Empire, and had big turnouts, great numbers, and...
Fantastic, 30 players all up, and well done, thanks to Chris Jeffries, Corey Ayres and Fiji, Andrew Fidge for ensuring it all ran smoothly. As you know, Alex was away, so Lyndall was away. I was we were all in Victoria. They were playing pool. I was there with my family, but so those three actually shouldered the responsibility and did a great job.
Getting 30 players to a state junior event is fantastic.
Look, it's good, and hopefully we can keep that going, Phil, because that's one thing we've had a big gap.
Yeah.
And the old stages like myself went around for way too long, and we didn't have the youth pushing us out the top.
Yeah.
Usually in every sport, the young ones come through and then they push you out, and then the new guys become the staple of the team, and that hasn't happened. And I think now that we've got a little more impetus in the junior level, we might see that. We might see that happen again, which is fabulous, and they're all great kids.
Well, I mentioned the winners, John. So in the under 12s, we got Tyree Morrison was the winner, and Krishna Garg was the runner-up. In the under 15s, the winner was Jason Yu. He defeated Kobe East in the final, and in third place was Jeffrey Ayres.
That's right.
And then in the under 18s girls, we had Charlotte Hatton retaining her crown, and she beat Colby Knight in the final. So congratulations on Colby making the final. And then in the under 18s, we probably had a slight shock with Jason Yu winning his second title for the weekend, beating the Prockett's junior player Trent Bowes in the final, with Charlotte Hatton finishing third. So fantastic effort on Charlotte, also winning the under 18 girls and backing it up and coming third in the boys. But obviously there's a big name in there that we have to talk about in Jason Yu winning both events, John, and only 13.
Well, look, it's we both only met this young man earlier this year. He was down here in January.
Yeah.
And we saw how disciplined and determined he was. He loved, you'd never have to hit him with a stick saying go and practice. You got to hit him with a stick to say stop practicing. And he just loves it. And one of the things I saw when I first saw this boy play was this is going to be a massive injection for our junior development in South Australia.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of good players, a lot of young players that have, but it's like everything, until you see the best level, you don't realise it. You think you're going okay.
Yeah.
And then you see this kid, and what it does now, it'll ensure that we see juniors lift across the board.
Yeah.
But as soon as you have someone that good, people realise, hang on, I've got to keep getting better. And I think you mentioned to me earlier today, in fact, that a couple of the boys are coming in to get a bit of snooker tuition now.
Yeah, well, Connor, who ran fourth in the event, he was in here yesterday practicing for a couple of hours. Yep. And I know that Trent has spoken to one of Jason's coach for some help.
Yep.
So to me, like you said, they've already seen what level Jason's at, and now they're already working on, well, how do I get to that level? How do I compete with this player? How do I get better? And he's just a role model of putting in hard work.
Look, you're here and you understand the hours he works. I mean, he comes in, 3 or 4 hours every day.
Every day.
Every day. So it's not just something that he does casually and then sharpens up before a tournament. This is his regime. And if you want to get to a level in any sport, doesn't matter whether it's snooker, golf, you have to find that.
Yeah.
Find that time, and it has to be your passion.
Yeah.
If you're not driven by it, you're only going to get to a certain level.
Yeah.
And obviously his goal is to be a snooker champion.
Yeah.
But he's happy to pick up all the trophies along the way. What else can I win while there's no snooker tournaments? What about I tell you what, I think I'll go with the 8 ball. So he has always had a casual interest in 8 ball. I know when he was in Darwin, he played 8 ball up there. So he will still play as many games as he can. And you did mention he's quite keen on billiards now. So
well, we have spoken about the 8 ball, but this week, John, we've had a, and we'll go back to Jason because we've had our finals in the last 2 weeks. So we had the Challenger and Championship finals, and we spoke about Stacey playing against Tyson Crinnis in the final of the Championship League, and I said I fancied an upset there with Stacey. And it was a very similar final to the State Snooker, where Stacey wasn't, like myself, at their best, struggling out there, and Tyson was just that little bit better and in control. And Tyson didn't play that well for his standard in the final, and Stacey would have loved to have played a lot better. But Tyson wins 4-1. Also like the State Snooker, where it was a lot closer. Tyson won a couple of black ball games, and they could have gone the other way, but he always had that little bit of edge on Stacey. And knowing how good a player Stacey is, and seeing him frustrated at the end of the match, purely because he was struggling where he's at. But he hasn't been well, and he hadn't been hitting balls. But Tyson, yet again, well done, and wins another event. And in the plate, John, we had the Peter Udich up against Kieran Maguire. Also, I tipped that Kieran, if he played really well, could push the button, but Peter Udich's experience was way too strong for Kieran on the night. Kieran also, I felt, a little overawed by the situation, and Peter was just another day in the office.
State championship, so it's no big deal, the bright lights for him.
So Peter got up and won 4-1, so that was a nice effort from Peter. But then we go to the Challenger League, which is the league that's pushing that league and to get in that league. And we had Noor, got to get his name correct here, John. It's Noor, I'll assume Saucy. Anyway, Noor, I'm very sorry if I got your surname wrong, but Noor played Jason Yu in the final. And John, this was a fantastic final. Jason won 4-3, but Jason was 2-0 up, in control, made a 50 break. Then Noor fought back, won the next 3 in a row, was leading for 3-2. Jason then turns the burner on again, wins easy, goes 3-all, and then Jason picked him on the black in the decider. And Jason was a bit fortunate. He fluked the blue. It just dropped in the hole in the last frame, and Noor only needed a ball. And the pink, if the blue sits over the hole, Noor wins. But Jason got the run and went in. But Jason played a Noor, we're talking about earlier. He played superb in this final. He probably played better than what Tyson or myself or Stacey played in the other finals. And he just this kid that's loves the game, and on top of that, I've still got one more to talk about. But we also had the T140 snooker final on the Friday night, and Jason won that as well, John. So in the last week, he won the T140 snooker final. He won the Challenger League snooker final. He won both the 8 ball events. That's all in 1 week. He won 4 tournaments, and then last night he was in here playing in the billiards league, John. And before that, he was getting coached by Arthur Karanis and Peter Udich. They were teaching him how to play billiards. So for all these youngsters that want to get better, this is a kid that's seeking knowledge, not just from, because when he played in the pockets, he came and sought you out, John, to give him some help. He's got hold of Jamie Giannis, Australian snooker champion, and Tyson Crinnis, number 6 in Australia. He's gone to the top of the tree for snooker. And then last night he's getting coached by Peter Udich and Arthur Coronis, the last 2 state champions. And,
you got 18 titles between them or something like that.
And he is loving billiards just like he's loving snooker or loving 8-ball. So this is a kid that is a sponge. He's just bringing in knowledge and trying to improve his game. So well done, Jason, on an amazing week.
Absolutely.
With all them events.
We're all very proud of who you are, and we know that this is still the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, he's
we're going to see a lot more of you, young man. And for those of you that haven't seen him play, what's available online you can find on YouTube. There's plenty of events in both his snooker tournaments and his 8-ball tournaments on the weekend. You would have no problem finding those. But yeah, well worth the look. And yeah, it's not just his ability, he's got really good composure. There's a whole lot to like about this young man, and we're going to be talking about him for a long time.
Of course, we know him now. We just treat him as another competitor or another, a player in the room. But when you realise he's only 13 and he's only been playing for 6 months, snooker, full on, where he's turned it around. But sorry to digress, I'll go back to the Challenger. I actually would have liked Noor to win, only because Noor put a lot of effort in, and it was a massive thing for him to win, and Jason's going to win 1,000 tournaments. But anyway, well done to Noor, runner-up, you played fantastic, and Jason, congratulations on winning it. And we also had a plate with Mike Wellens, and he was up against Chris Wilmer.
Okay.
Another player that plays every Cuesport available, and Mike Wellens potted some of the most amazing shots, John. He must have potted 15 massive long pots in that game.
Okay.
If you've seen Ronnie O'Sullivan doing, wow, it's a great pot. But Mike got over his good friend Chris Wilmer 4-2 in the final. So congratulations on Mike Wellens winning the Challenger plate. So it was a fantastic week, and lots of snooker finals anyway, John, and congratulations to all you guys winning them events.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, look, it's brilliant. We did touch on the pockets. I suppose we've got to close off on the most recent one.
Well, the pockets was a bit sour for us this week, John. With we had like three ladies in the competing in the ladies event, and we had Alex and
James
in the men's, and we didn't get any chocolates this week. So
no, highly disappointing actually. I mean, obviously it's harder with the 8-ball girls. They haven't really been playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you and I both said before, if Lyndall had played, she probably would have won that tournament.
Yeah.
But she's chosen to actually take the challenge, and all credit to her to play in the Open League next season. And look, big ask. That's all I can say. Look, she's a very good player, and I think she probably would have been favourite in the ladies, although Jessica, we both talked about her abilities, and unlucky for her that she was ill and unable to play, because you and I both thought she was the player most likely to win that. So we'll get well, Jessica. I'm sure the next time they do their Phil and I we've already pre-backed you. I think we've got pretty short odds. We're lucky to get 2-1, I think.
We love the South Australian girls, but Renata hasn't played for a long time. Elise hasn't played for a long time. Taylor hasn't been putting the time in that she has in the past, and obviously they just got sprung on them.
Yeah, in relatively short notice.
They didn't have a lead-up time, and in the past they're all legends, all world champions, and but like you said, getting put on them at the last minute, and they put in a fantastic effort, but just unfortunately we didn't get a winner, John.
No, but I mean, it's just good that there's an opportunity now for the ladies to play in this series as well. I did read a post from Elise that she was actually very, how would you say, a great comment on she had actually played Fee Plummer from Tassie, and said that Fee just played fantastic against her, and good on your Fee. It was good to see one of the shots with all the group of the girls there online on the weekend, and that was it's just so good, because they were all former competitors,
Well,
great mates.
They're all legends
They've all been away,
sport.
represented Australia together. So although they came from all different states, every time they get together, they always have a great time. So for no other reason than opportunity to play a bit of pool was good for them to catch up. I'm sure they would have had a pretty big night on the Saturday night. But yeah, that's. Let me see. Two events. Should we'll do the ladies. While we're on the ladies, we'll finish that off. A young lady I was unfamiliar with.
Ollie.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's gone through and now I think it's Vailua.
No, I'm not getting into
It's my fault. It's my fault. I probably should have actually taken some photos off the off Facebook to make sure I had all the names wrong. But Holly obviously played extremely well.
Yeah.
And all credit to her. And she beat. Let me just go to my notes, Phil, because I'm hopeless. The older I get, the less I remember.
Well, when I spoke to Alex about the ladies, he warned me about Holly and said that she's a pretty handy player. So Alex was on the money there. So.
Oh yeah, Isabella De Giorgio.
Yeah.
So Isabella, we all know her. Yeah, she's come through the junior ranks, and she's always been a quality player. So yeah, was no surprise. But obviously Holly was a relative unknown. I think you mentioned that she was the long shot in the betting.
Yeah.
So well done to her. And I'm certainly she won't be long shot again. That's a fantastic effort. And considering you can only win one inaugural, they only have one.
That's right.
And Holly will always be the inaugural champion. And that's fantastic. That's something that she never wins a game, doesn't matter. But I think the fact that she could win in a class field like that means that she's going to be around for a while. The first tournament, we had Woodsy.
Steve Woods.
Let me just check to make sure I got everyone here. Steve Woods beat Jason Sage in the final. So I think...
Alex lost to Ben Noonan in that one.
Yeah. And James, I didn't see James was met. James, I can't remember who beat James. But yeah, that was surprising for me. Probably more so that James got beat than Alex. Alex has had limited prep time on those tables. Although he has one to have a knock around on, he's super busy and trying to squeeze some practice time in and not been familiar with that time clock, and there's lots of reasons why that sort of was always going to be difficult for Alex. And I thought, being who he is, we both thought he'd probably likely to win one of these. So we're a little bit surprised he hasn't. But for James, the way he's been competing in recent times, I thought that he would have at least picked up one. But that didn't happen. And now the second event, we had Robbo, who actually. Mark Robinson ended up being the dominant player through the series. Did very, very well. I think that was his fourth win. And he beat Benny.
Well, it was nice to see Ben in the final.
Hey, big time, such a good player. And skills wise, there's probably, I wouldn't rate any of those players that have a higher skill level than Ben. I'm not sure. I haven't seen. I used to catch up with Ben at least once a year. I haven't caught up with him much for the last few years. I don't know how he's travelling personally. And usually it's like all of us. If we're in a nice, comfortable spot, then we're not worried about that. We just play pool. So whether that's some other issue outside the game, I'm not sure. But I know that when Benny is locked in, he's as pretty a player as I've ever seen. He just plays everything beautifully.
He's one of my favourite all-time two-shot pool players, John. And obviously, want to see Alex and James win, but it was really good to see Ben in the final. I was willing him on in the final. I couldn't get him over the line, but it was nice to see him. And congratulations on Mark on not only winning the event, but dominating the series, winning like 33,000 K.
That's nice.
Series.
Yeah, particularly when you're not paying any travel costs as well.
Sort of playing at home.
And that's good.
A bit like the AFL. All them Vicks over there.
I think we need to move the grand final rights to Arthur in future. The grand final should be in Adelaide in the future. But hey, look, it's just fantastic. And to Arthur, thank you very much. What you've done is actually allowed the rest of Australia to realise just how big the game has become. or has always been. It's probably been on a decline the last 10 years. Yeah. But Arthur's helped put the game of pool on the map, and he's put a lot of money up. The players have put their money up to make sure they can get involved, and I think it's just going to be bigger and better next year.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next year. Arthur teased everyone this year, got a few players in, showed them what he could do, and now he's opening up and 32 players and bigger events, Australian titles. So upwards and onwards. It's going to be good to see what happens.
Hey, look, the future's bright. The future's bright here, and I've heard whispers from other overseas competitions that want to bring something here as well. So we'll see what happens. But it's the future's bright, and certainly because we're such a pool conscious country. Some of those more, the countries that have developed the game even further than we have are looking to sort of expand here.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But there's certainly some interest from outside of Australia to do something here, which is something I can't elaborate on. I've only heard whispers myself. Yeah.
Well, it's all happening, John. Well, we're nearly at the end, John, but I will let people know we've got the Australian 10-ball championships on this weekend.
This weekend at Empire,
I don't know if you can get in it. It's 64 players, and I know it was nearly full, but if you're interested in playing in Australian 10-ball, contact James Gianoris or Mikey Cassiola or Alex at Empire. And if you don't want to play the 10-ball, we've got the South Australian State 147 Championship on this weekend as well. It's a one-day event this Saturday. That's almost full as well. It's always a fun event to play in the 147. So maybe we can get one of the winners on from the Australian 10-ball next week to
I think we definitely should be able to do something like that. So, there's some chance it'll be South Australia, we'll be able to wrestle them in here. Just a closing note for TMC, or That's My Cue. We were hoping to launch this week on the 15th, but beta testing results aren't complete yet. We still need to make sure we've got enough people in there, diving in there and having a look through the site. We have a little plan about how to get more people involved just to do the testing, because when we do launch, we want it to work seamlessly. Yeah, but don't give up. We're close. Phil.
John, it's always a pleasure. I don't know how we got through all these results this week, but anyway, we did our best. I hope we haven't missed anyone out. Congratulations to all the winners the last couple of weeks, and see you in a few weeks, and we'll talk more winners.
Always winners. All the best.
See you, John.